Alright, as you can probably tell, things are slightly different. I have a microphone, I have a camera. The camera is a downgrade from the previous one, most likely, and I plan to replace it at some point. But that's not really the important part. The important part is that this may be titled a review, and it sort of is one. If you're really looking for some die-hard advice on gameplay and analysis for this game, I apologize, this was false advertising. Instead, I'm just going to be talking about my experiences with this game, which is different from how it would be, if that makes any sense. If you continue watching, that will make sense. Just know that this is not a serious review. This is kind of just a skit-ish type thing. Alright, moving on to it. I do actually have a script, and I have read it a few times, but it's not something I'm going to really be referring to. I'm more just going to be using that as a basis for my ideas and just saying what I think. But I am going to actually start with a question that I asked in the script. You know how sometimes a game is just so good that it will always be a part of you, and it can affect even things in your daily life. I know after playing Red Dead Redemption, I started saying howdy to everyone instead of hi. On the flip side, there's games that are so bad that they become etched into your mind, and you will never ever be able to forget them, even if that's what you want so desperately. Well, what happens when a game is in the complete and total middle? It's just the epitome of okay. In my case, with Mickey Mouse Magic Quest 2, it just becomes something you forget. When I played this game, I believe actually last October, I believe I did it for some Halloween games thing that I was doing. I meant to do reviews on everything. I did reviews on, one of them now. I also was doing sort of a cycle so that I would go through all of my game platforms so I wouldn't overuse one thing and underuse another. I have since given up on that because it just really ruined games. Didn't make them, even ones that I'd enjoy, be very fun, but more on that another time. To go with this, I also made a spreadsheet of every single game I own, and I would mark next to each one that I've beaten it. I forgot that I beat Mickey Mouse Magic Quest 2 until I almost beat it again a second time. It was right before the final hit on the final boss. I always thought that I never beat the boss. I thought that I just gave up then and there. I knew that everything was familiar, but I didn't know just how familiar I was with the game until I beat it again. Out of, I don't know if it was spite, anger, dismay, some form of negative emotion took me over, and I took the game cartridge out of my GameCube, and I just slapped it on the floor. It is still there to this day. And that was well over a year ago, and it's still just on the floor. I have changed my room setup a ton since then. Even since I did that Fate review, which is coming up on 2 months ago as of recording this video. That was a few room setups ago. I've changed quite a lot again. And honestly, the most memorable... Why did I do that to my hair? We'll just keep it like that. The most memorable thing about the game to me at this point is that it's super unmemorable, like Sigilif and Maractus from Pokemon. And the other part is that it's on my floor, and it's become a joke to me that the game was so forgettable that I just threw it on my floor. In the original draft of this video, which I actually did record a day or two after I beat the game, so this was last year, I had mentioned that the game feels, or plays at least, looks all that like a bad SNES port. I also joked that the game was so forgettable I didn't want to look it up. Over over this past year, accidentally, not even trying to find it out, I found out that it is actually a bad Genesis port, not SNES port. I know that the joke doesn't really work here, being as there is no joke, but I just thought that it was worth mentioning, is that something from a video that I'll see, but no one else will ever see, had a joke in it that I can now say I have an answer to. Yeah. Honestly, do I think that the game deserves the fate that I've given it? No, this might be too good for it. Because I'm remembering it now. But honestly, that's just going to explain a bad running gag that I'll be having for quite a while, because it's something that I've included in every single one of my reviews since I did that, and this year alone, I have beaten 47 games. Well, actually, more than that, because I haven't updated that list. The reason I'm pointing over there is because I have it on a whiteboard. Maybe I'll show it off someday. Maybe I'll show it off at the end of the year or something like that, to be like, look how many games I beat. Look what I think was the best game that I played this year. Look what I think is the worst game that I played this year. Something that you'll find in common with all of them is I don't think a single one of those actually came out this year. Actually, I think one of them did. Might be spoilers to even bring that up. But yeah, it's just something that I've, funny enough, incorporated into myself and seem not willing to let go. Like me saying howdy instead of hello.